Hey everybody, you are about to watch the Dr. Jaime Show. I hope you enjoy this episode. Right, here we go. Hello and welcome to the Dr. Jaime Show. Happy Friday. Yay, that's right, it is the best day of the week when we wrap things up and we get ready for Saturday. Yay, that's right. The Dr. Jaime Show is all about increasing your success, your happiness, and your likability. And today on the Dr. Jaime Show, we have candidate for Tampa Mayor, Topher Morrison, and he is going to answer all of your questions about the city, why he's running, his future plans, and don't worry if you're not from Tampa. We're talking about climbing obstacles, overcoming fears, and shooting really big, aiming high, and achieving your dreams. So that's all going to happen in today's segment. A quick rundown for you of upcoming guests. So I can't believe it, but we will already be halfway through the month next time I see you. That will be February 16th. That is crazy. The Day of Love is coming up, guys. So don't forget, Wes. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. He's telling Siri right now, remind me. So the Day of Love is coming up on Wednesday, guys. Don't forget us. That's right, because then we get angry and mean. And then on the 16th, okay, so we have owner of USA Spine, Dr. Colleen Maxey. She is a pain surgeon. She will be on the show, talk about all things pain and sort of healing yourself in other ways than just medication. Did you see the guest? Did you see the surprise guest? You didn't see the surprise guest. No, it's not Jody. Very good. So that's the 16th, which also, Wes, happens to be 2 years in our house and my papa's birthday. So Friday is going to be a great show for us. Yeah, we love this home. I love this home so much. On the 23rd, we have President of Marketing Matters on the show at Colleen Stearns-Leaf, and she is going to chat with us about how to get more social media followers. We might have some giveaways. I'm kind of pressuring her and maybe giving some giveaways. First time on the show. So yeah, I want to be like, car for you, and a car for you, and a house for you, and a car for you. So when I get to Ellen and Oprah status, car for you. Yep. So hopefully in 2 weeks I will have a car for you and a house for you. So just hold tight. I'm trying to get some giveaways on the 23rd. And then that brings us to March. We are full through March. I'll just give you the first rundown in March. March 2nd, we have Dr. Michelle Fisher on the show. Ear, nose, and throat doctor. We're going to talk all about allergies. We have had a heck of a flu season. Holy cannolis. We've got young, healthy boys, 19, 18, 20s, right? Healthiest that you can get. And they are going up there because of the flu and how crazy it is. So make sure you're washing your hands like crazy. If you are traveling or you are staying in a hotel, flight and hotel are apparently like the worst places to be right now because they're the dirtiest spots. Like, don't touch anything, bring sanitizer, be that crazy person that sanitizes every 5 minutes and has dry hands. It will pay off. So just be really, really careful who you're around and what you're doing, because it is a deadly flu season, unfortunately. Okay, so a little bit about the past week, guys. We did it! British Airways. So I did my segment in New York. If you type in Jamie Kulaga, British Airways, or you go to my Facebook page, Dr. Jaime Workshops and Coaching, you will see, I think, one clip of, I did about 25 clips over 42 different states about. Wow, it was intense, guys. So I like to just sort of give you the behind the scenes on like what really goes down. So I'm sitting in a room that is probably as small as this little studio area, whatever you can see in your vision. That's the area that it was, about that big. And there's two guys up against the wall, so I'll pretend you're the wall. So they're up against the wall. I have an earpiece in. I've got like this notepad, kind of like I do over here in the corner, of things I need to say and reminders. So you've got, this guy saying, wrap it up, or say, plug British Airways. It was so crazy while the anchor is talking to me. So whenever you watch those shows with like the split screen, so you see like, the anchor here, and then in another square you see the other person, that's how it was. So actually I don't see the anchor and they don't see me, but I hear them, and everything was live. It was about 5 hours or so of taping live. Very, very few breaks. But it's like, I got to a new height, guys. We did it together, and it was so amazing, and it was nerve-wracking and scary, and I called on the Facebook and Twitter and Big Chat community to sort of send me good vibes and confidence, and you guys did right away, and it worked, and we rocked it, and we did awesome. So thank you so much. Yes, even I get scared. Yes, even I get butterflies in my stomach, and I did, but you were with me the whole way, and we rocked it. So thank you so much. So British Airways, we did it. So bigger things to come soon. As soon as more things unfold, you know that I let you know as soon as I'm allowed to say something. So that is great with that. Okay, so I have to tell you this. So sort of the backup, this is gonna be the Dr. Jaime segment before we bring out Topher. So last week, we had the human trafficking segment, right? And we had the victim on, the survivor on, I apologize. So, and we talked about all things to do with human trafficking. Well, we also had Sarah McDougall on the show, who is a branding strategist and an abuse recovery coach. And she kept talking about the link between pornography and human trafficking, right? And one of the things that she said, you know, watch what your kids are doing on their iPads. We've heard that 1,000 times. I always do. I know what they're doing. I know that they're on these bubble sites where they're, you know, making words from mixed up letters. Totally okay. She said, are you watching the commercials in between the game that they're playing? Well, no, I'm not hovering over them for, 45 minutes staring. I'm not on the iPad. So I decided to stop and actually take that advice. I learn on these shows too. So Wes and I are sitting on the couch and we're watching him with this totally child-approved game. You could be 1 year old and play the game, totally just like mixed up letters, and then you've got to spell different words. Well, after about 2 or 3 rounds of this, a commercial comes on for 30 seconds. Guys, you will not believe these commercials. Are you ready? Brace yourself right now, and if you're underage, hold your ears. So the commercial is a girl standing in front of a bed with 2 men in the bed, and she says, I didn't know you were into this kind of thing, okay? Then it flips to the next part, and it's a girl looking at a pregnancy stick. And then it flips to the next scene, and the girl walks by, like 9 months pregnant, by a guy, and he's like, oh, I haven't seen you around in a while. That was the person that has her baby, and she hasn't talked to him in months. And I was appalled. Wesley and Blake are seeing this every single day. So while I feel like I'm being a good mom because no, you can only play word searches and these totally age-appropriate games, I wasn't hovering over them to watch every single commercial that happens every 45 to 50 seconds after these games end. So, warning sign, what your children are watching, maybe even at the age of 3, is very, very inappropriate. So no matter how much of a handle you have on it, there could be a lot of things that you don't know that they're seeing. And my son will even say, oh, that's really weird. He's getting it. He's putting it together. This is so inappropriate, and this is how they're desensitizing kids and making this type of stuff seem normal and okay. They are learning emotional intelligence and emotion and how to deal with men and women right now, and they're finding their identities. This type of stuff is changing the way that they're thinking and growing. So be really careful. So that is my Dr. Jaime warning of the day. Okay, so now for the fun stuff, the stuff you've been waiting for. Jody McLean, come on out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Macy, we're waiting for you. We have candidate for Tampa Mayor Topher Morrison. Topher, give me a hug. Thanks for coming.
Than's for letting me on the show. This is great. Listen, I don't want to
so it's not Jody today.
No, I don't want to seem overly critical, by the way, but I think the way you've set these chairs up.
Yeah. They like, no,
they don't
that's
make
your
it
good
easy
side.
for us to
No,
connect.
that's your good side.
Oh.
Yes, you would just, and then.
Trust me, there is no good side.
Topher, you've got to understand, okay? This is the way that we do the show.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Glad you're here.
I'm so happy. Colette made a super funny joke.
She did.
But it's not Jody, it's Macy today.
Macy, come here.
Yay! Oh, yay! See who's on the show. I told
What a
you we
shock.
had to
I'm with my dog. That never happens.
No, I've never seen that before. So if you vote for Topher, you're also voting for Macy, so you need
I'm pretty sure she will get more votes than me. She'll be a write-in candidate. She'll throw the election.
Does she have a Facebook page?
She doesn't.
She doesn't.
I'm not that obsessive, but she does have an Instagram page.
She does. I love it. I love it. Very good. So, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
So usually my first question is something unique or bizarre that nobody knows or few people. But before we begin, actually, today I want to kind of put a spin on this. The car you drove.
Yeah.
Tell us. I mean,
it's a Lamborghini.
It's a Lamborghini. Yeah. You bought it all in cash.
All in cash.
All in cash.
It was given to me.
Given to you.
By Morgan Freeman.
Morgan. Yeah, that's right. God, actually, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to say it.
Oh, yeah, but yeah. Okay. All right. Moving on. So
or, it's a. Well, I don't even know what kind of a car. It's a zip car.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell people about this. So I don't know if maybe I'm the only one in Tampa that doesn't know about this. It could be.
No, it's still a relatively new thing down here. So zip cars are hourly car rentals.
Okay.
Completely serviced, or unmanned or unwomaned or whatever they are. So there's no brick and mortar building where you go. They just have them strategically located all over the city. You open up your app, and instead of like Uber where you would call a car to come pick you up, it tells you where the car's at. You walk up, you use your app, and it unlocks it, and then you get in. There's the key, and you drive away.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, bada bing, bada boom. And it's the hourly fee includes roadside assistance, insurance, fuel, and the rental of the car.
Fuel was huge for me.
Yeah.
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 And it's what, like $7 or $8 or something like that?
It depends on where you rent them and what kind of a car. So you can pay upwards of maybe $13 if you're getting
like
a
the
BMW.
Lamborghini.
Yeah, the Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
The BMW though?
Yeah, you can get some BMWs.
Wow.
Notice I think about 13, 14, maybe $15. No, still not a lot.
Yeah.
Getting
Imagine a guy taking his girl out on a date.
Woo! Going out tonight!
Yeah.
I typically just get the cheapest one I can find, walk over to UT and get it for it's $7.95 is what I pay for the car.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's so cool.
It's a great thing. In fact, this actually kind of leads into what is something that's weird or unusual about me, which is that I have not owned a car in 7 years.
Wow, that's
I remember.
awesome. That's so huge. And we read together, me and the viewers, a book on Dave Ramsey called The Total Money Makeover. And in that book, he talks about like a car is such a worthless payment.
Yeah.
Pay off, either don't have a car or pay off your car. Like just be done with it and don't sit there and spend. I mean, people are paying $500, $600, $700, $1,000 a month for their cars.
It's funny. A lot of people think then that I'm like anti-car or I'm like this tree-hugging hippie and stuff like that. And the reality is, the last car I had was an Infiniti QX56, which is
before the Lamborghini.
before those monster. It was like that monster SUV.
Yeah.
Like 6-7 miles to the gallon or whatever. And I never liked the car when I had it just because it was such a gas guzzler. When I was going to sell it, I thought, you know what I'll do is I'll just do my part for the environment and I'll walk for 30 days. So it was just a 30-day experiment where I just see if I could walk everywhere I wanted to go. At the time I lived down in South Tampa in Hyde Park. And I did it for 30 days and it was super easy. Not only was it easy, but what I discovered was that my stress levels in life decreased a lot.
Because you're walking? Or because of road rage?
Two things. Number one, because I'm walking, and that is great for your blood pressure and your heart and everything else. But number two, people don't realize how much stress is associated to driving. And it doesn't even have to be unhealthy stress. It could be eustress as well. But it's still stress. Because when you're driving, you have to stay switched on. You have to be defensive. You have to look out for all these things. But when you're walking, you just let your mind wander. So I discovered after 30 days, I was healthier, I was happier, I was more creative, I was coming up with better ideas for my business. And the overall effect far outweighed the slight level of inconvenience that I felt. Now, granted, I've designed my life in a way where my office was within walking distance of my apartment or my house at the time. So it was a simple 10-minute, 15-minute walk to work. Now it's even easier. I literally live 3 blocks from my office, so it's real simple. But it was just such a great experience that I just kept doing it. And then I got to, I thought, man, I wonder if I could make it for 6 months. And then 6 months hit, and then I thought, I gotta go a year. You know, I gotta go a year. And then I kept telling myself for the rest of the 6 months, I said, as soon as I get to my 1 year, I'll reward myself and buy myself a nice car. In fact, I was going to go back and get a BMW 745 Li, which was the car I had prior to that, and I loved that one. And you know what? After a year, I was like, God, I don't even need it anymore. No. And then I just went, and then it was like, can I go 2? Can I go 3? Can I go 4? And now I don't.
And now there's so much ease. There's so much difference over 7 years in the ease.
Oh yeah, this was before Uber and Lyft and Zipcar and Downtowner and all those things that really make it easy for somebody who has an urban life to not have to have a car.
Yeah, and my stress level is high as a passenger in a car with Wes.
Good.
So so
Very
yeah.
athletic driver.
Is that the word? Athletic?
Right, he's an athletic driver. That's right. Yeah, in and out, and in and out, and then bum 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 bum. Yeah.
Got it.
Whew.
Good to know.
Get a little, gotta get back there.
Yeah.
So now when I say my husband's athletic, you know what I mean.
He's just crazy behind the wheel. That's good. Is
Okay.
it that way in the boat?
It is. You know, we got a pontoon boat so that my life could slow down. Okay, so we could slow down. So he wants to upgrade the engine, and I'm like, no. 60 is the 60 horse. I think is what we have on a 60 or 90.
Just depends on how many people you have on there.
Right. All right. So, okay. So, unique or bizarre, hasn't had a car in 7 years. Pretty awesome.
Yeah. And the other weird thing about me, this is the one that scares me for the election. I hate touching food.
You hate touching.
You're
food.
a psychologist. You can probably help me out with this.
Yes. Okay.
I don't like touching food. It's a texture thing.
Okay.
If it's dry food, I'm cool with that. But the moment there's a possibility of sauce dripping on the palm of my hand, or it's greasy or buttery, cannot stand touching it. So I like, you see all these pictures of the politicians that are, they get raked over the coals because they ate pizza with a knife and a fork, and I'm like,
That's gonna.
I'm that guy.
You're that guy. You're
Yeah.
gonna do the pizza fork thing.
Well, no, I'm sure I've learned.
I do it.
But see, I don't know. I just hate touching food.
So-
I've been known to eat popcorn with a spoon. It's a far more effective method for delivery.
Yes. Okay.
Clean.
Well, you know, I mean, we could get some like sauce right now, and we could put it out, and we could desensitize
Do
you, and slowly.
desensitization therapy?
We'll bring the sauce, and we'll just put it here. You could just look at it first.
Look at the shock collar.
So on the next show Topher's on, we are going to desensitize him live on the show.
We're going to replace the chair with the couch. We're going to go deep into my past.
Just kick your feet out. There'll be a couch here. So what about like chicken wings?
Yeah, no, hey, I love the taste, but I hate touching them. Yeah, so as a result, I rarely eat chicken wings.
Ribs? No, you're missing out.
If I can eat it with a, I'm the guy that leaves half the meat on the ribs because I only can cut off with a knife and a fork, and I'm never going to pick it up. It's just gross.
That's gotta be one of the best, like, unique things.
It's
Like,
weird.
it's weird. It's a weird thing.
And I'm probably obsessed with this dog.
And I'll finish off the ribs. So
He
we
will.
need to go eat with him.
Yeah.
What?
He wants to go eat with you because he's like, I'll finish off his ribs.
That would just be so uncomfortable.
That would be even worse.
Wes is like, dude,
Dude, you need that.
you can finish that?
How's that?
It's all yours, buddy.
I'm athletic, man.
Yeah.
I'm athletic. Okay, so I want the viewers to know who they're getting their information from. So tell us a little bit about who you are before you sort of go into your story on how you got to the mayor kind of status here. So
I wish I had some really cool story, but I'm just a guy like anybody else. I'm relatively normal, except for my food thing.
Okay.
Born and raised in Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
I always joke around. I say I come from a dysfunctional family because my mom and dad are married. They get along well. I've got a brother. He's married. They have kids, and we all get along. And there's no drama in our house. Which nowadays, that's like so not common.
That's so weird.
It's weird, isn't it?
That's a unique or bizarre thing about you.
Yeah.
You have
So
a
I always
family.
say it's clearly a dysfunctional
Clearly
family.
is.
Because nowadays functional is divorce,
Yep.
multiracial.
Right.
We're just like so
You're just-
beaver cleaver. It's ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah. They all live in Spokane, Washington. I'm sure Freud would have a heyday with why I moved all the way to Tampa, Florida.
Yep.
When they're in Spokane, Washington. But the reality is we all get along real well. I talk to my mom and dad every week.
Nice.
Always say I love you when I get off the phone with them, including my brother.
This
Yeah,
is
it's
so
just disgusting.
undrama
Isn't it
filled. Like the
weird?
show should just
Yeah.
be over.
I know. Done. Yeah.
So what did bring you, and this is going to lead into your story here. So
Yeah.
tell us how you got to deciding to run candidate for Tampa Mayor here. How did you, like, what's your journey? So you're in
Sure.
Washington and now you're here.
Well, by way of Southern California. So I grew up in Spokane, Washington, hating it because it was cold. And I always told myself, when I was a kid, I remember telling my mom and dad I was going to live in Disneyland. Little did I know, eventually I would end up living about 3 or 4 miles from Disneyland,
Oh, wow.
which was weird. So I was down there for about 8 years, and then in 2000, I came to Tampa on a business, well actually I came to West Palm on a business trip.
Okay.
The next weekend I had Atlanta, Georgia, and I thought flying all the way back to Southern California for 3 days to get on a plane flying back. It was even crazy. A buddy of mine had just opened up a business here in Tampa, so he picked me up in West Palm, brought me back here, hung out with my bro for 3 days, fell in love with this city, and I moved here 3 weeks later.
How could you not fall in love with this city?
It's the best city in the world.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love it. And I've been so many places, and you've been even more.
Yeah.
And I just love it. Now, there are beautiful places all over,
Sure,
you
yeah.
know, but this is home. This
Yeah.
is feels like
Here's
home.
what I tell people about Tampa. This is how I recruit people all the time. We are geographically located. And my dog's getting into something.
You want
Hey,
to
It's
Get
a
her.
fake plane.
It's a
yeah,
fake
it's a
plant.
fake plant. She's looking for lizards. Is what
Oh.
she's doing. Yeah.
You
she's
might
looking for
have.
lizards.
Yep.
So
We will digress several times to the dog,
multiple
just so
times,
you
yeah.
know.
This
So
is the
work with us here. Work with
Jamie
us.
Kalaga dog show. So this is how I get people to move to Tampa. I tell them that we are geographically located in such a sweet spot because we are far enough north that Tampanians have a southern hospitality that you get in the deep south,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And yet we are far enough south that we have the big city vibe of Miami.
Yes.
And you can't find a city anywhere else in the country that has that big city vibe, but down home southern hospitality.
Ooh, I love it.
Right?
That's very
And
great.
it's just the greatest way to look at how we are here in Tampa. And I no kidding, fell in love with the people. In 3 days' time, moved here 3 weeks later.
And what year was this?
That would have been 2000.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
so I've been
yeah.
here for 18 years.
What month of 2000?
I
Do
don't
you remember?
remember.
So mine was August of 2000.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, so I've been here about the same time frame that he has. I came down here for to go to University of Tampa.
Interesting.
And now it's
Which is an
interesting
awesome
Spartans.
school.
because
I said
Go
go
Spartans.
Spartans. Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Which is interesting because I lived in Chicago till I was 17, so officially this year I have lived longer in the state of Florida, in Tampa, than I have my life in Chicago. So my new life is here.
I, however, am older than her, so I have not lived half my life here.
Now, is there Singapore somewhere in the story? I remember didn't you say you traveled to Singapore?
All the time. Yeah,
Oh.
but I've never lived there.
Yeah, but you traveled there.
Mhm.
I've never been. Is it awesome or?
It's an amazing city. You want to look at cities on what cities are doing things right,
Mhm.
look to Singapore.
Why?
It's the cleanest city in the
Mhm.
world.
Oh.
It is. Everything they do is very strategic. In fact, interesting enough, here's a story for you, a psychological one. They brought in, when Singapore was suffering, they brought in a feng shui master, like the best in the world kind of guy.
Ooh.
This guy walks around the city, he starts going, put a building there, put a building there, put a building there, put a fountain here. And he feng shuied Singapore.
Wow.
And they started building the buildings where they told they put a fountain. There's this, still to this day, there's this huge fountain, and all the Singaporeans, they get up in the morning and they walk around it 7 times in, I don't know if it's
Yeah.
clockwise or kind of, and it just to bring in the chi and make sure that the city vibe is going good.
How
And
cool.
as a result, they have feng shuied everything in the city. So the airport has, entire airport has been feng shuied. It's the only airport in the world that when I have a layover, I try to schedule the longest possible layover so I can hang out in the airport.
Wow.
It's that fun.
It brings
That-
you good vibes.
They've got a butterfly garden.
Oh, of course they do.
They've got a cactus garden. They've got free movie theaters.
Mhm.
They have a recording studio in case you just want to bust off some rhymes.
Yeah,
All
which-
of it's free, by
Yes.
the way. If you have longer than a 4-hour layover, they'll give you a free tour of the city.
Wow.
It's brilliant. And the whole time you're getting the tour, all they're saying is, please come back. We'd love to have you stay here more. And so you don't get to experience, you just get to see all these things, then you want to come back later.
Can you do these things as Tampa
Yes, we
Mayor?
can. Absolutely. and we
Butterfly
should be
gardens
doing
and
it.
rap
Not to
stations.
mention
And...
it's super safe.
It's very safe.
Super
Is it?
safe. Yep.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a great
how
city.
awesome.
Yeah. They are, in my opinion, architecturally taking over where Sydney left off. So for years, Sydney was this architectural marvel with the opera house, and people would travel from all over the world to see that city and see those unique architectures.
Yeah.
Singapore's just blowing them away now.
Wow, amazing. What a cool, that's amazing. Okay, all right, so,
Which is foreshadowing to my vision of the city.
Oh, I love it, and I can't wait to hear more. Okay, so now you're down in Tampa,
Mhm.
and I guess kind of keep us up to speed. So you're in Tampa, you love the city. How are we running now for mayor?
Yeah, that's a big leap, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Well, my parents raised me on the belief that you don't sit on the sidelines and judge, you jump onto the field and play.
Okay.
And I think far too often, a lot of people just like to sit on the sidelines, especially now with social media, right? It's
Okay.
like the ultimate armchair quarterback, and people can very easily judge and
Yep.
make these conclusions about how things should be different and could be different. But to quote a young student at University of Tampa, Juhi Kore, who did a TED Talk 2 weeks ago.
Love the name.
Yeah, she said, hi, hey, how you doing? She said, if your social activism begins and ends on social media, then you're part of the problem. And it's just too easy for people to do that. So I saw this city and I see where it's going, and it's doing a lot of things great, and it's got so much potential. And I had this very specific vision for the city, and I think this could be a great way to put us on the map. You know, for 30 years, Tampa has been, the unofficial motto of Tampa has been the next greatest city. 30 years. Hello.
Wow.
When are we going to stop saying we're the next greatest city
Hopefully next
and
year.
start owning it, right? Yeah, and actually acting like it and behaving it. Because right now, we just keep acting like we are the next greatest city. But you got to, you know, it's like they say, dress for the job you want, not for the job you have. Well, we have to behave like we're the greatest city, not behave like we're the next greatest city. And what that means is, as a city, we tend to just talk a great game.
Yes.
We have all these great ideas, but then when it comes to fighting for them, we've lacked people to do that. And that's not a slight on Bob. I think he's actually been an
He's a
amazing.
great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's done a great job. In fact, what I tell people is that I think Bob Buckhorn has done a great job getting the city of Tampa to fall back in love with Tampa. Like, right? When you think about it,
And he's so young and hip. Like he loves the young crowd and growing us. And
there's a vibe in Tampa that we have not felt in a very long time.
Yes.
And in fact, especially in the downtown core, I mean, I've lived here for 18 years. I don't think I ever visited the downtown core for the first 10, 12, 13, right? Like, he's got us to really get excited about the city. Now I think we need a mayor that can get the world to fall in love with Tampa, and I think I'm that guy.
I love that. I love that. You know, I just was thinking, this is my mind of media going on. We should get a hold of, and don't steal my idea, y'all. We need to get a hold of like one of these production companies and have, instead of like America's Next Top Model, America's Next Best City. And you get like 3 of the top cities in the running, and then obviously we'll take the crown.
So it's completely rigged.
Well, yeah, it would be rigged. But yes, so I think we are America's next most awesome. What is it? Next what city? Next biggest.
The slogan is America's next greatest city. I'm ready to make the Tampa the greatest city in the world.
I love that. I love it. Okay, so, but why mayor? So I have here, why not start with something like city council, county commissioner? Tell me.
Street sweeper, something a little easier to get into.
That would be, we're hiring at 2 maids.
Right.
Yeah.
So, here's why.
Okay.
A lot of people have asked me the same question. I've got a lot of advice from people saying, why don't you run for something that you can win, right? And my answer to that is this, because the basis of that question is, why mayor? Why don't you get something that's easier for you to achieve, easier for you to win? I think if we elect a mayor that is running for mayor simply based upon their odds of winning, like right now, there are 3 people in the race. And one gentleman, I apologize, I don't even know his name. He's not raised $1. I believe it's more of a social statement necessarily than his actual ambition. Last week, we got Ed Taranchik in the game, so he and I are pretty much the 2 competitive front runners. In fact, we are the front runners because there's nobody else officially in the race. Jane Castor's talking about it. Mike Suarez is talking about it. Harry Cohen's talking about it. Ed Narain's talking
and
about it.
now?
Jamie.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
It might happen by the end of the show.
By the end of the show, she actually may have a surprise announcement.
Yeah, just saying.
At which point in time I would be screwed. I was going to just drop out. Can't compete with you. So anyway, and by the way, all of these people are great.
Yes.
Okay? Why aren't they running? Why haven't they put their hat in? Well, a lot of them, not all of them, are assessing their odds. What's the chance, what's the likelihood of me winning this one, or should I go for another seat? If we elect any politician into office who is only running based upon their chances for winning, that is the exact opposite kind of a mayor or leader that we want in our city, because they run their office the way they run their campaign. And if they're only campaigning for things they think they can win, they will only fight for things that they can win when they get in office. And this is why we have people who talk big promises about transportation when they're running the campaign, but they don't have the guts to fight for it when they get in office. And that's something that upsets me. So the reason why I'm running for mayor is because I'm the underdog, and I don't care what my odds are.
Yes.
What I care is how can we move the needle forward. And if I've looked at the positions of city council, county commissioner, and the mayor is the one that can push the agenda the fastest and the furthest and the hardest. And I have a very specific agenda, a clear vision for where I want the city to go. And if the majority of the city likes my vision, I'll win. And if the majority of the city doesn't like my vision, I won't. And my idea is not that good, and I'm okay with that as well. But nobody can say I didn't fight for it.
Yeah, and you can't sit on the sidelines.
Yeah.
You're practicing what you're telling people.
Yeah.
You know.
So, because I promise you this, there are things that when I get in office, I'm going to have to fight for that are impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
But
Just
you're gonna
like
do it.
winning. People say, oh, it's impossible. You'll never win. Great. Bring it on.
So I have a story to back him up on this. So my book, when it was launched, grab a copy now. The Superwoman's Guide to Super Fulfillment. Go on Amazon right now.
Get it?
Yep, get it. Okay, so I have people that, distributors of my book, you know, people that back me on this book.
Yeah. Your
And-
book is done very well.
Thank you.
You're in, how many languages now?
Yeah, I'm in 15 countries, 4 continents.
How badass is
Yeah,
that?
it's pretty damn badass.
Yeah, that's
So
pretty cool.
I decided I want to do book signings in Barnes & Noble. My book is in Barnes & Noble. And I decided what better place than New York City on Broadway.
Yeah.
You know what they told me? The people that support me, the people that help me make money on this thing.
You'll never do it. It's impossible.
Absolutely not.
Oh.
Absolutely not. You will not be able
Yeah.
to do something at that magnitude. Hillary Clinton has the magnitude, those were the words, of getting into New York, Broadway. You know who signed her book on Broadway in New York at Barnes & Noble? That's right, this girl. I was the underdog.
That's awesome.
I kept going.
That's
I
so
persisted.
cool.
I probably, because I emailed people so much, they're just like, shut the
Yeah.
girl, just shut
Look,
up.
if we
We'll
let
just
her
get
come,
you.
will she leave
Will
us
she
alone?
just stop?
I'm okay with that strategy.
Yeah. Just saying. So, but it worked. So if we often think so much less of ourselves, so we're always going to shoot under. Go ahead and shoot big, and probably 9 times out of 10 you'll land it.
Yeah.
It's like just
But
speaking
even
up
if
and
it's
asking.
1 out of 10, that's still
Who
better
cares?
than if you didn't go for it,
Yes,
right?
yeah, but the thing that we set the bar so low for ourselves, we can achieve such crazy things like the iPhone and the internet were ideas at one time, and
Yep.
someone like us, not making a lot of money, just some random guy on the street going to college,
Came up with an idea and
Came
put it
up
in the
with-
garage.
yes,
and,
thought big and kept going, and now look. So, okay. What other areas of your life, this is a question that I want to know from you, and I think viewers might want to know. So, what other areas of your life did you just jump right into something really big, and you made it work? Why did it work?
You know what's funny? I didn't. You sent me these questions
Yeah.
prior to that,
Yeah.
and I was like, God, I don't even know if I actually have, you know. And then you would ask that, and I just realized there was one time I was 18 years old. I just got a job out of high school. Had a very cool job, by the way. My job was to take little rubber feet
Yes.
off of a sticker,
Ooh,
peel them off,
yeah.
and then stick them to the bottom of a computer keyboard for 10 hours a day as the boards would run down the assembly line.
I didn't
That was
even
my
know
job.
that was a job.
That's a job. That
That's-
was a job. I'm
Yeah.
sure it's
That's
replaced
over.
by a
How
robot now.
how it's made. That's what I would think
Yeah.
that show. How was
Yeah.
it made?
So I was working for this company up in Spokane, Washington. That was I think they were the largest computer input device manufacturer on the planet. And I would sit there for 10 hours a day. I think the hours were 4:30 in the evening till 3:30 in the morning.
Wow.
10 hours a day. I would sit there and I would just go like this. Whoop, whoop, whoop. This is all I did.
Wow.
And about 3 weeks in, I thought,
I have
"Jeez."
a new
I was
respect
like,
for my keyboard.
Yeah, yeah. Well, 3 weeks in, I thought maybe I should have gone to college because this is really a crap job, right? I remember the day. So it's swing shift. I don't know what time of the day it was, what time of the night it was. But my assembly line manager Dave was walking down the line, asking all of the women if they knew how to type. This was 1987, by the way. And he passes me up, and I go, Dave, I can type.
I like that he passes you up.
Yeah, just didn't even ask me, right? It's like, what dude would know how to type? And I go, yeah, I can type. I took a class in high school. I'm really good at it. And he goes, follow me. He pulls me off the assembly line. I go up into the crow's nest, this where management is up above, where they have the
Ooh.
windows and they can look down
You're
on
wearing
all
a
of those
suit?
little peons that are assembling things.
Yeah.
And he explains, he goes, well, listen, we've got this label that's got to go inside the keyboard for these compact keyboards. We've run out of serial numbers. The labels, they haven't been printed. We have to hand type the serial numbers on these labels.
So you went from bloop,
Yeah.
bloop to
To hand typing, right? And I look in this room, there's like 8 women frantically typing on these IBM electric typewriters.
Yeah.
For those of you watching who are under the age of 30, a typewriter is kind of
Yes.
like an iPad, but it's lame.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
And you can't zoom in on anything.
yeah. And a tape. A tape, if you've ever heard of a tape, it's the square thing that you take a pencil
Yeah,
and
and
you have
round it
to
up.
twist to get the film back in. We digress.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm looking at these ladies typing, and I look at the guy and I go, isn't there a computer that could type? Because we had to print these things so fast, we had to keep up with 6 assembly lines, putting out a keyboard every 45 seconds. So I said, isn't there a computer that could type this?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, yeah, but nobody knows how to use it on swing shift. And I looked at him, I'm 18 years old. I've never touched the top of a keyboard, by the way. We typed in high school, but we didn't have keyboards. I'd never touched the top side of the keyboard, just the bottom feet part. And I looked at him and I go, I could probably do it. I don't know, to this day I have no idea why I said I could probably do it, other than I was 18, felt invincible.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
at that age, you can do anything, right?
Yeah.
So I go, yeah, I could probably do it. And he goes, really? And I go, yeah, let's give it a go. Turn on the computer. A monkey could have done this. By the way, he did it. All I did was punch it in, like, because it was menu driven. Select the manufacturer. I go, who's the manufacturer? He goes, Combat.
Okay.
Select the model number. What's the model number? 4620. You know,
Yeah.
and it walked me through step by step, and I printed the labels and saved the day.
I love it.
And then, so the next day, the facility
You were
manager,
awarded something.
Yeah, like he walks in, he goes, "Hey, I hear you're quite the computer whiz." I'm like, yeah, I try. You know, I had long hair, earrings. I wanted to be a rocker. You know, and all I wanted to do is play in a band, but I sucked. And turns out that company was so disorganized on swing shift that happened about every 3 or 4 weeks. So I got to save the day.
Every 3 or 4 weeks?
Yeah, yeah.
3 years.
And that turned into a clerk job, and I just progressed my way up, and by, I don't know exactly when it was in the job, 9 months into it, I was their only person in management without a degree. I was their corporate training, I say corporate training director, it was probably not nearly as fancy of a title as that. But,
I like it. I'll
yeah,
believe
I
you.
mean, I was in charge.
You're not going to check your references
Yeah.
and go there.
I was doing training and development for 3,000 employees at age 19.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I bullshitted my way into a job I had no right having, but turned out I actually did pretty well at it.
Because you just said, I can do it.
Yeah, I can do it.
I can do it.
Yeah.
And you did.
Yeah.
And you did. That's
So
the
that would be
key.
the other time I'd say.
Okay, what are some of your fears in general and how do you overcome them?
Fears in general, how do I overcome them? I believe that environment dictates
Other than
performance.
sauce.
So yeah, fear food. So I'm a firm believer that environment dictates performance, and so if you want to perform better, put yourself in a better environment that is conducive for that. So I try to put myself in environments where my fears don't get to come out and play,
Okay.
and that means surrounding myself with fearless people.
Okay.
So I'd have to say the way that I fight it is to surround myself with people that I have the false illusion that they have no fear. They probably do just as much as I do, but because I don't think they do, I don't see it. What I'm afraid of, probably the biggest thing that I'm fearful of would be depression, because I suffered from depression for quite some time, and I just never want to go back to that space in my life again.
Yes.
So I'd say I probably have a healthy fear of never wanting to be depressed again.
Yep, absolutely. And one great way to get into depression again is to surround yourself with negative people.
Yeah, put yourself in a crappy environment.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're doing the right thing. So
Yeah.
excellent. Okay. What have you failed?
Oh, and clowns.
And clowns and barbecue sauce.
And who invented clowns?
I know. As like a happy thing.
weird.
Like I get like the movie It should use should use clowns.
I'm even afraid of Bozo. I mean, I don't like clowns.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't like clowns
I'm gonna
either.
lose the clown vote
But
now.
yes.
I get it.
Oh, take it back. Retract it. Retract it.
Key
retract it.
voting segment. I'm losing the clown votes.
I did like Bozo for the 6 bucket thing where you toss the. Do you remember Bozo where you would toss the ball into the 6 bucket and you would win the grand prize? Do you
First
remember
off,
that?
For those of you who are under the age of 30,
Yes.
Bozo the Clown was a dude in
Yes.
a public access show, kind of lame,
Yes, it
but
was.
he had a good heart.
He did have a good heart.
I was
And
actually on the Bozo the Clown show.
Did you make it in the 6 bucket?
Maybe I didn't, and that's why I'm afraid of clowns. I don't know. We should dig this one deeper when I come back. Let's explore my phobia. Maybe it all goes right back to Bozo.
That's why he can't eat sauce.
Yeah.
Now we know. Damn it,
Yeah.
Bozo.
It's a bad experience with Bozo the Clown in the green room with bucks of chicken
Yep,
wings.
yep. It goes way back. Yep, Washington. What have you failed at? What have you failed at? Adjusted your sails and moved on. Oh, you've never failed.
This is a sensitive topic
Yes,
for me.
it is,
apparently.
it is.
Yeah. And don't tell him about that thing.
Right, that was just one time.
Relax. Yeah. What was the question? What have I failed at?
What have you failed
Man,
at?
we don't have time for that answer.
I-
This would be like a 3-week show.
We've
to talk
all
about my
failed,
failures.
yes.
Yeah.
So what have you failed at? And then you just said, you know what? I got to accept it. I'm going to adjust my sails and move on.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
she liked
Yeah.
it. This is an
All right.
important one.
Yeah. You want to know the answer? All right. Cool. Well, let me just talk to you then. Okay. So, oh, you want to play? You know, the funny thing is nobody can even see her on
No.
camera right now.
So it looks
they
like
just think that I'm like, oh, who's the cute shoe? Oh, look at my shoes. Oh, you know.
He brought his invisible friend
Yeah,
doll,
yeah,
okay?
got my
Yeah.
invisible clown
My
doll.
invisible clown.
Depression's next.
Yeah, it's coming up. What have I failed at? I have failed at a lot. Probably one of my biggest failures professionally was, and I don't remember what year it was, but I went from, yeah, hi there, how you doing?
This is an important question for her.
I was pivoting in my business. I wanted to get out of what I was doing from a personal development arena, and I really want to just focus on professional development, specifically in the area of speaker training programs.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had an amount of money that I felt could last as the business declined before I would start to raise up and more, right? So I had like this little, yeah, I know. I had this plan where I
Maybe it's like maybe you're doing like a dolphin command
Yeah,
sign
is that
or
it?
something.
yeah. So anyway, I
You
had
gotta
this
pet her,
window.
Wes. You gotta pet her.
Well, this window of opportunity where it's going to go down and go back up, it just kept getting further and further apart, further and further apart.
Okay.
And so what happened was I ran out of money before the money started to come back up.
Yes.
And that about also when the entrepreneurial depression set in as well. Because as business owners, we tend to associate our success in business with our identities.
Mm-hmm.
Not very happy when we go, I get you. Yeah, what's up?
Well, and that's important for people. This is part of it, guys. It's live. And that's important for viewers to know because I'm sure there are viewers out there.
Clearly bringing my dog on the show is a fail.
No, that's not true. No, we haven't had this problem before. We don't know what to do, y'all.
I guarantee you she's getting more hearts right now
Right.
and likes, right, than any joke I've told. I mean, it's been a pretty lame show up until this point. But the dog, yeah, it's actually been pretty good. What is your problem?
What?
I think
Maybe
she
she
is
wants
good.
water.
She might want to go out and play.
Maybe
yeah,
let
you
her-
wanna, if you want to open the door, she'll probably just go outside and chase lizards and she'll be fine.
She's telling us something. Something huge.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
like,
she
yeah,
wants to
thank
go
you.
outside. Thank you.
How hard is it to figure out when I'm barking? I want to go pee.
Yeah, but you can't let her out there, Wes, without a leash. You don't want her to run away because then the show will end because Topher will also be running.
I will run.
He will run. And I will have you live on camera.
You just start talking to the little baby here. Yeah.
So, Topher.
Yeah.
Have you always... Oh, I love it. Okay. But yes, I appreciate you sharing that failure, right, with us, learning lesson, whatever you want to call it, because there are people out there that want to take the jump from the corporate world to like owning their own business.
Mhm.
You do have to have something in savings, or you do have to have some type of plan.
Yeah,
And it's
you have to have a
scary.
cash flow system.
Yes,
Whatever
some
that
type.
might be.
Now, it doesn't mean if you don't have $50,000 in the bank, you can't leave your job and start your own business. I don't want you to
Right.
think that either. There is a way out if you are like hating life right now. So you just got to be strategic about what you're doing. So, okay. So have you always wanted to be in politics, or was this a recent ambition?
I say it's a recent ambition, but I do remember when I was in high school, I think it was high school, I saved my money and I got a Sony camcorder. This was like the massive one.
So for those of you under the age of...
it's like a flash drive, but it's much bigger, and the quality is terrible.
Yeah.
So
I remember my dad like taping me at like some dance recital with the big
thing,
the big
I
thing
had that,
sitting on his shoulder.
You have to put your hands through the strap
Yes.
and put it on your shoulder.
Yeah, and it was
and look
too
through the
heavy for a
eyepiece.
girl.
Yeah, that's how we filmed. And I remember we were just, and granted, now that I say this, somebody's probably going to go try to find the footage, because I'm sure it's there somewhere.
Oh yeah, right.
Just
So are you sure you want to say this?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
it's going
Just
to come out.
making a
Should
total
we
ass of myself. But here's what I would say. This was back when I was 18. I would say things like to my buddies. I go, I can't do that because I might want to run for president one day. And I remember I would say that comment all the time. So maybe there was this deep-seated thing that I wanted to do, but it is a relatively conscious, recent decision over the past 7 years, 6,
Okay.
7 years.
So it's
Yeah.
still not. I mean, it's recent, but
Yeah.
it's not. Yeah. Excellent. Okay, very good. Do you have any political experience?
No.
Okay.
Which I think is the exact reason why I should be in office.
Okay.
Because here's the thing, political experience, to me, kind of equates to lifetime politician. It equates to bureaucrats,
Right.
And here's one thing I know, bureaucrats and politicians are great at spending other people's money.
Mhm.
You know
I
what
am too.
Yeah, well, you know, but you are, but you're also an
Wes is money.
entrepreneur.
Mhm.
And you know what entrepreneurs are great at? We're great at creating money where it doesn't exist.
Yes.
And I think what we need is we need leaders in office
Great
that are
point.
great at creating money where it doesn't exist, as opposed to a bureaucrat who goes, how much money do we have? Can we afford it? No, let's not fight for it. That's bull, man. There are ways we can generate money and create wealth inside this city. And I think that it's not going to happen through a bureaucrat, but it will happen through an entrepreneur.
I love it.
Small,
That's such a
specifically
great
a
point.
small business owner.
That
Yeah.
everyone has got to give to him, because entrepreneurs are great at creating money where it doesn't exist. We're phenomenal at that.
My thinking on this is and I'm not unique to this, right? The only thing that would quote unquote make it unique is that I'm running, okay? So I don't think I'm special in this, but I will tell you this: you, me, everybody watching on Facebook Live, Twitter Live, YouTube Live, BitChat, that is a small business owner. We eat Impossible for breakfast every single day.
It's
right?
pretty good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, we wake up, we have this crazy thought, and we somehow think that we can take that thought and turn it into something real. So we get on a computer and some ones and zeros create a website or a widget or a plan. And then we are bold enough to think, well, now that we've created this, we're going to go find people that are willing to pay us for this, but we need teams of people to help us do it. So we go out and we find people, even though we don't know how we're going to pay them, because we know we have to sell it to somebody who we don't even know they exist. And meanwhile, the government, of course, wants 25% of everything, whether it's profitable or not. And somehow we find a way to get the taxes paid, the employees hired, the widgets created, the website designed, the sales out there, and we find a way to make it work. And then the next day we wake up and we go, you know what else would be cool? And we do it again and again and again. And that's that kind of creativity that I think will make this city the greatest one in the world. Let's fill this city with some creative entrepreneurs, and let's get them in leadership positions, and let's start creating money where it doesn't exist.
I love that. Wes, can you do a Google search on Steve Jobs' crazy quote?
Oh,
yeah. Crazy enough to do it quote. And
Here's to the dreamers, the misfits, the crazy ones. Yeah.
And then, I love that. Okay, so there are always people that will say he doesn't understand this or that. So, maybe it's dealing with homeless people. Maybe it's dealing with something with marriages. So you haven't lived through this.
Right.
I haven't lived through being homeless, for example. How do you put yourself in the shoes and do something with something you've never experienced?
I wish I could take credit for this comment, but I saw a comedian doing it.
Okay. You can take credit, we'd never know.
Yeah, he was getting heckled by this woman in the audience. He was talking about parenting, and she shouts out, "What do you know? You're not a parent," right? And he looks at her and he goes, "Lady," goes, "I don't have to know how to fly a helicopter to see a helicopter in a tree and look at that and go, somebody effed up."
Yeah.
So it's like,
it's true.
Since when do we have to actually live it to have compassion? Since when do we have to live it to actually seek understanding for that? If experiencing something was the prerequisite to understanding anything, we would be a very shallow society which does not understand anything. So I don't feel that I have to be homeless to have compassion for homeless people. I don't feel I have to be a parent to have compassion for parents. I think I need to have motivation to seek out that understanding and be able to live in the shoes of other people's viewpoints without having to accuse them of being a hippie or a Nazi.
I love that.
Yep.
Excellent. Great answer. Okay. All right. Sidebar here. I know we're coming up on time, guys, but I need to ask him this. You have a 40 things before I turn 49 or something like that.
49 things to do before I turn 49.
What is this?
It was inspired by my friend Shannon Barbado, who did 37 things she'd never done before she turned 37 in 37 days.
Wow.
It was awesome watching her on her blog doing all these crazy things in 37 days. After that, she shared with me that she just wanted to sleep for like 2 weeks because it was exhausting to do that. And I remember seeing that, and then when I got to 48, I thought, well, I'm going to do 49 things I've never done before I turn 49, but if I do them in 49 days, I'll probably die.
Yep.
So I gave myself 49 weeks to do it. I failed.
You did you?
Yeah, I didn't get to 49, and I don't care. I'm still doing my 49 things,
Good.
but I just didn't get to them before. There's another failure.
But you're still doing it. That's the thing. Sometimes you have to adjust and keep going. I mean, I wanted to write my book in 4 minutes. After 4 minutes went by, I realized it's going to be a little bit longer than that. This coffee was great.
Yeah.
So
I did 49 things before I turned 49.
How many
that
are you
I've never
at?
done before. I don't know the exact number, but I'm sitting probably around 39, 41.
Oh, okay, so it's a good
I'm
chunk.
getting close. Yeah.
Well,
I just did another one yesterday, which was give Macy dog lessons, behavior lessons. You can tell that worked out really well, didn't it?
Great.
Yeah. She's got more lessons to go.
What was the most awesome of the things you've experienced of the 39 things you've done so far or whatever?
There were a couple that I thought were real fun. I took flying lessons, and I loved that.
So now you can say if you see a helicopter in a tree that someone effed up, because technically you're like a pilot.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Pretty much there.
Pretty much a pilot.
Yeah. I rented a Lamborghini.
Ooh!
Yeah.
$14.95 on.
Not $14.95 on Zipcar, but I did rent a Lambo. It was pretty cool. I got to drive it around this track, and they coned it to where you couldn't get up to full speed, you know. But it was still fun, just hitting the curves, and that was fun to do. Some other things that I've done. I hosted the Banyan Ball, which was something that I really enjoyed doing. I haven't even written that one, so that was kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Didn't you do something with a homeless person, like talk with them, or?
Yeah. So I spent a day with a homeless person, but the blog was spent a day, but the reality is I spent a whole week with him.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah. It was very eye-opening for me, and it's a funny story too, because prior to me spending the day with him, the night before I called the police and turned him in for dealing drugs, because he looked suspicious and I was certain he was the guy dealing drugs. You got to read the blog to see how a bunch of an idiot I was. But
Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
Yeah, that was something that was very fun. Yeah, and terrifying. That was the most terrifying thing I've ever done, because I am not, as you saw from the video, a dancer.
Well, I want to know why I wasn't chosen. Clearly, I'm a star. Do you see? I'm on TV right there,
get
next
on
to you,
that shit.
next
And you
to
love
another
dancing,
star.
for sure.
I'm not. I can't dance. Maybe I should host it.
You
Maybe
can
the
do
host-
it. The
maybe
dancers are great. They teach you how to do a dance. It's fun. I would do it again if they invited me back, but I think you only do it once. Yeah.
Well,
Although maybe if I win mayor, maybe they'll be happy.
They have, because now you've, yeah. Okay, back to being mayor. Okay, what do you feel are the biggest challenges Tampa is currently facing?
Every single politician is going to answer that question with the answer of transportation.
Okay.
I will not.
Okay.
I don't think transportation is our biggest problem.
Okay, so it could be a problem, it's just not the biggest one, from your perspective.
I think it's the biggest effect of our biggest problem.
Okay, which
So
is?
it has to be handled. I don't think we know what we want to be when we grow up. Every city of influence has an identity associated to them that people recognize worldwide. So Orlando, Disney World,
Yep.
Mickey Mouse,
Yep.
Daytona,
Fast cars.
Miami, Latin nightlife,
Yeah,
right?
the Magic City, they call it. Yeah.
New York,
Yeah.
the Big Apple, New Orleans, the Big Easy, right? I mean, there's these things, and some of them are conceptual, but we get it, right? All cities of Hollywood, LA, the Hollywood sign, right?
Absolutely.
So every city of influence is known for something. What is Tampa known for?
Dr. Jaime.
Dr. Jaime. That's exactly right.
Moving on to the next question.
Yeah.
So.
Well done. Well played.
Just saying.
I've asked that question to everybody from political leaders all the way up to the mayor to industry leaders in Tampa, and this answer is almost the same thing, which is they go, well, that's a good question. Not really sure. And I think that's sad, right? I think we need to have an identity. Because until we have an identity, we won't know what transportation solution is correct for that identity, right?
Yeah,
So
good point.
because of that, we just come up with these weird ideas, and they're great, and they're cool, and they're insane, and I love them all. But because we don't have an identity, we don't have the ability to fight for that. So I think first we need to make a decision with what our brand is going to be in Tampa. Now, some people might argue, well, we've developed a brand. We spent millions of dollars developing this brand, and I would probably challenge 100 out of 100 citizens to know what is the Tampa brand.
Yeah.
Right? They don't know. So it's either not an effective one, or it's not being messaged correctly. And I think a brand has to be something that is so compelling, the world wants to travel to see it. And this is where I think we kind of miss the mark, right? Because anytime somebody uses the word "the next" in their brand, they've already failed. So when people say we want to be the next Silicon Valley, or the next Raleigh, or the next Asheville, or the next, or not Asheville, the next Nashville, or the next Austin, we've already screwed ourselves, because nobody who's ever made an impact in the world has ever been the next anything, right? Facebook never once ever said they want to be the next MySpace, right? Apple never wanted to say we want to be the next
Whatever.
PC,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So we got to get out of this whole comparison thing and try to be like someone else, and we need to come up with something so original, so unique, that we don't have to be the next anything. We can be the first something, or the only something. And I think when we do that, then we'll know what type of transportation solutions we need.
I love that. That's excellent. And some of these questions might kind of.
And I have my vision for what that is.
Yes, and it's in here, right? I get it. I think I
I'm
did
going
ask
to
that
reveal the
question.
specifics of it
Okay.
for my kickoff party.
Ooh.
But I will tell
Which
you
is
that
when? Can you tell us?
we're still working on that as well.
Okay.
But my vision for the city is something that people from all around the world would want to come see.
Okay.
Because unless it's, by the way, nobody wants to travel from all around the world to see, I don't know, a business hub, right? I'm not
Yeah.
saying
We
that
wanna see
business
Disney.
isn't important.
We wanna see
Yeah,
the Big
it has
Apple.
to be something fun, something exciting. And by the way, it can't be something that is temporary, right?
Okay.
Yep.
So here's a great example. Well, some people might argue, and they go, but Gasparilla, that's what we're known for.
Yep.
Okay, great, but the problem is you can't build a brand identity on a city on a 2-week party. I'll give you a perfect example of that. Look at New Orleans. They knew that Mardi Gras could not sustain them for an entire year. So what did New Orleans strategically do? They brought in the world's best chefs.
Yes.
Yep.
And now, if you want to go to the best food in America, where do you go? You go to the culinary capital, man. You go. Even people in New York will go, New Orleans has got it. That food is
Yeah.
amazing, right?
Yeah.
And people
And
travel
it's a
from-
particular type of food too, right?
Yeah.
Because there's other cities that have great food, but they've really honed in on what, like that
Creole.
spicy
Yeah,
Creole,
Creole.
yeah,
Cajun food.
yeah, Cajun.
Now let's compare that to Rio. Carnival.
Yeah.
Okay. What else does Rio have?
Bad sewage.
Bad
Problems
sewage,
in
yeah,
the water.
nothing,
I mean,
right? And so, sure, for 2 weeks out of the year, 3 weeks out of the year, they do great. But it's a city which is broke because they've put too much emphasis on that. So do we want to be a Rio or do we want to be New Orleans? Right? If we're going to do something with Gasparilla, it can't be a 2-week thing. We have to have something else which gets people here year round. And then that only makes Gasparilla more fun and more enjoyable.
I love that. That's excellent. That's excellent. Okay, so, and we are gonna delve into a little bit more of what he's saying here in a moment. I know we're out of time. We might go just a couple minutes over, maybe 1 or 2. How these are now? The next few are questions from viewers. So if you could answer them relatively quickly, so we can make sure that we get them.
Speed round.
Speed
Ready
round.
to go.
Okay. Stretch. Here we go. All right. In 3, 2, 1. How is the city of Tampa's financial situation?
Ooh.
It's actually quite strong,
Okay.
and it could be better. There are some things here. This will make you appreciate how awesome our city is doing. We are operating currently right now on less money than we were operating on in 2007.
Okay.
Because in 2007, when the economic crash, most of our revenue in the city comes from property taxes. Right. So when property values were high, we had a lot of money coming in. When 2007 hit and the property crashed, all of a sudden our revenue dried up. Now, because of tax levying laws that don't allow the tax percentage to increase at the same rate of inflation, what's happening is the values of the homes are going like this, but the tax dole is going like this. Okay? So we currently right now have less money in our city than we had when we were in 2007. And yet, building prices are going up,
Yep.
operating costs are going up, the salaries of our police are going up, and they should be. Our firemen are going up, and they should be. These people deserve to put their lives on the line. Let's pay them what they're worth.
Especially
Right?
nowadays.
And yet we're doing pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're doing good, and we could do better. And I thank Bob Buckhorn for actually falling on the sword for the next mayor and petitioning to have the millage rates increased, and they went up. So we were at 4.75 millage, and now we are at 5.573, which basically means for every $1,000 you pay $5.73.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough to give to the city. I love
Yeah.
the city. Okay. Do you believe in raising taxes to support development and infrastructure, including things like transportation?
Great. So anytime somebody asks a question about raising taxes, I have a belief that they're really not questioning raising taxes. They're questioning the efficacy of how we're using those taxes.
Okay.
I don't think people would, like if you went to somebody and said, listen, would you be willing to pay an extra $1 a day in taxes so our police officers could have all of the benefits
She
that
said
they
yes.
need? Yeah, like I think most people,
Yeah.
at least good caring citizens, would go, listen, our police deserve, our firemen deserve a raise for crying out loud,
Yes.
right? And I think most people say, yeah, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Right? Because if they know where the money is going and they can track where the money is going, well, that's pretty cool, right? But what the problem, and I'm frustrated, you are probably as well, and I think most citizens are, what we're frustrated about is when we pay taxes and we can't see the benefit, we
Right.
can't see the return.
Yes.
So am I in favor of raising or lowering taxes? It really depends upon the situation, but what I'm in favor of is making sure that the citizens understand and can see where those taxes are going.
Absolutely. One of the reasons that I give back to the University of Tampa and I joined the Board of Fellows is because I see where my money is going.
It wasn't because I was a member?
Well, I'm sorry, that was the second reason. The first was because you were no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm sorry. Okay. But anyways, yes, I see he's so happy outside. Okay, so but anyways, I see where the money's going, the buildings that are being built. It's not just a school that's remained the same
Right.
since I graduated
Yeah, you
how many
see
years ago?
development.
I've
Yeah.
seen development.
Big time.
Okay, is there anything else we can do in Tampa to attract more corporations to come here to Tampa and hire? Viewer question.
Yeah, I think we've answered that through the brand identity.
Okay.
Once we know what we want to be when we grow up, we
Then-
can sell a lot better to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you feel about moving the Rays to Tampa, and do you support giving them financial support to move the team here? Why or why not?
Well,
Today we had big news.
Sure. So yeah, I am in favor. I think
Okay.
it's a good thing. I don't think it's the most important thing in Tampa. USF coming to Tampa in downtown was a far better deal,
Yep.
much more beneficial for our city. But I think it's a good thing. And we're going to have to come up with money for it, whether it's here or it's in St. Pete. We all have to chip in. This is a regional thing. This is not a citywide thing, but I do believe that it's great. I think it's geographically a cool location. We're going to have some transportation problems getting in and out of that thing unless we come up with some kind of advanced rapid transit system. But I think overall it's a good thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. Who are your political opponents?
You know what? I don't focus on my political opponents. I focus on the voters.
Okay.
Right? I respect every one of these people that are going to get in the race. For somebody to get in any race, whether it be city council, county commissioner, school director, I don't care. For somebody to be willing to say, I'm going to put my life on hold so I can commit to this, how could you not give them respect? Ed Tranchik has been a friend of mine for 18 years, and I got nothing bad to say about that guy. I like him. And I'm not going to say anything bad about any other ones because, frankly, I don't focus on them. I'd rather listen to the citizens and find out what their questions are. I'll focus my energy on that. Anybody else can focus their energy where they want.
Absolutely, I love that. Yeah, because when we sit there and we judge other people and our energy's out on them, you're giving them more power.
Yeah.
You're giving up your energy. The little bit that we have every day should be on you and your goals and not hating on other people.
Yeah.
That's such a deterrence.
I go back to that phrase, winners focus on winning, losers focus on the winners.
I
Yeah,
like
so let's
that.
just focus on winning for the city.
I love
Let's
that.
just get it for them, yeah.
That's great. Okay, and I know we're at time. We'll do two more questions here. I'm going to skip the biggest competition unless you really, really want that. We can do these on. Okay. Okay, I'm going to ask you one about competition.
Yeah.
What should other people do who are in competition with others for advancement, promotion in their line of work? Any tips?
Oh man, this is a longer answer, but
Okay.
you can go to my TED Talk that I just did.
Great.
TEDx Talk, on the collaboration economy.
Okay.
Right now, I don't believe in competition, I believe in co-opetition.
Okay.
So I think sometimes in the 80s, maybe your enemies were your enemies, but in this year now, your enemies become your allies. And you need to find a way to work with those competitors to make sure that you're working for something bigger than your individual needs, but you're looking for an overall benefit.
Where can they find this TEDx talk you did?
It's not. I don't know that it's live yet. I mean, you can watch the rebroadcast now,
Okay.
but they're editing it, and it'll be up on my. It'll be on the Mayor page. It'll also be on my personal page when it's. Give it 2 more weeks.
Okay, great. And your personal page is?
TopherMorrison.com.
Okay.
But for the political one, we've got TampaForTopher.com.
Okay.
And that's currently a landing page until the new site gets set up. Which, by the way, one of the things I've told. We didn't get into all of the top problems. We talked about the identity. One of the other problems is we have the city and the county don't seem to learn how to play in the same sandbox, and I think I have the skill set to be able to get them to do that. And I'm going to demonstrate that in my campaign by showing the voters that I can get corporations which would otherwise be competitors to set aside their differences and their competitive nature to work together in tandem or in harmony for the cause of a greater good. So you're going to be very shortly going to be able to go online and see how I've actually brought business owners together, which normally are going tooth to tooth, and they're actually working shoulder to shoulder.
Nice.
To actually help move something forward. And our website is actually one of those things where we've actually got 4 marketing companies right now, which are competitors. They're all working together to help create the marketing plan for this campaign.
I love that. And if they want to see it, it's TampaForTopher.
TampaForTopher.com.
TampaForTopher.com. I love it. The biggest question of the day, if you win for mayor, will you be on the Dr. Jaime show? Will this be your very first appearance?
I cannot promise the very first appearance.
Topher?
I'm sorry.
Topher, let me ask you that question again.
I
Just say
gotta
yes.
I gotta say the truth though. I am sorry. I can't guarantee it's the first one because I don't even know what day that's gonna happen, and I'm pretty sure news will be there when I'm actually
Topher,
winning.
just say
But
yes.
I tell you what, you
Say
can
yes.
Facebook Live at my victory party,
Okay.
and you would be with the other media who is getting the news at the exact same time. Is that a fair compromise?
Can I
It's
go
got me.
first? Just say yes. Okay, all right, fine. I'll compromise. Damn it!
And that
Damn it!
Yes, you'll cooperate. You'll collaborate with the rest of the competition.
Right, that's right. I
You'll
have
all
to
get
go.
it at
I'll
the same
make your
time.
website and I'll be part of the whole. Okay, where can we find out everything we need to know about Topher Morrison? One more time, where can we find out everything about you?
TampaForTopher.com.
Okay, if you could leave the viewers with one last piece of advice, what would it be?
I'm going to go back to a quote that I got from Zig Ziglar when I was 13 years old, and that is this: what you receive by accomplishing your goals is not nearly as important as what you become by accomplishing your goals.
That is very true, absolutely. Thank you for coming on the Dr.
Thank
Jaime
you.
Show.
This was
Thank
fun.
you. Yep,
Yeah.
I love it. Happy Friday, everyone. Enjoy your Friday and have an even better Saturday. Bye. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching the Dr. Jaime Show episode this week. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Do me a favor and subscribe to me on iTunes and YouTube. And of course, please give me some feedback on the show. Looking forward to reading it.